Next up is our friends from Orange, Vivek Badrinath, who is the Senior Executive VP of France Telecom Orange and the CEO of Orange Business, and Eric Scherer, who is the Director of Future Media and in charge of digital strategy of France Télévision, with Adrian Monck, who is the Managing Director of the World Economic Forum.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the session that stands between all of you and sandwiches. We apologize for that. We won't keep your hunger at bay too long. But we have a very interesting session for you now, which is media and industry heavyweights weighing in on the Internet of Things, or as somebody remarked before we came on stage, the view from the dinosaurs on this new and threatening technological revolution. So my background before I joined the World Economic Forum, I was a television executive for longer than I care to admit, about 15 years. And the one thing I think I know about television is that when it comes to technology, it regards it as scary, threatening, and to be avoided at all cost. Now, just to start with you, Eric, is that still true? I mean, are we going to see the Internet of Things as something we should all be frightened of in France Television and circle the wagons, another incoming problem?
No, I don't think so. I think we are very enthusiastic about what's going on and what will come in the near future. Basically, I think TV is the first object in the Internet of Things. Unlike the smartphone or the tablets or cool new laptop, TV is a very old object. It's more than 50 years old. So TV is the last screen not yet to be connected. So I think in this new industrial Internet, we will have this, what you call the smart machines, the smart cities. You have the smartphone, and hopefully we'll have the smart TV. And for us, what does it mean, smart? Smart is very simple. It's three different things, but very precise. A smart device is connected to the Internet, is talking to all of the other devices you have, and third, it knows a lot about you. And then the smart TV will be able to know before you know it, basically, what you want to see, when you want to see, and it will be able to propose you the right content at the right time, at the right place, and when you want it. It's quite difficult to achieve, but I think we will go there. And we will have two ways. We will have things talking to TV, and TV talking to things.
So your sofa can tell you've watched too much television, it's time to get up and actually do something.
Exactly. You will have a connection to your sofa, you will have a connection to your table. If you lose your remote control, you will touch your table and you can change channel. It's already we are showing this kind of application at the France TV booth at LeWeb. But I think TV will remain for a lot of people the one and only screen. But for most of the people, TV will be just another screen among a lot of other screens. And this means a lot in terms of new channel of distribution. We can talk about that.
Absolutely. And I mean, that new channel of distribution, if I want to watch that content now on all my mobile and portable devices, I'm going to have to sign up to a plan from France Orange Telecom to power that. How are you going to be responding to that challenge in terms of supporting it?
Well, I think we're really in a supporting role. I think that's what it is. And in the media game, we are playing that role of trying to bring the connectivity that allows these images, these moving images to flow. Several things that we've done on our IPTV platform linked to this multi-screen paradigm in the home. We also see connected TVs coming in, and we can be indifferent to the transport that has to happen for these flows to come. So yes, there is an IPTV proposition that applies to many people that we are opening to the tablets, and that's one way to consume. There's other ways to consume behind connected TVs, and we're also trying to get involved in that area. And as a transporter of flows, sensitive to the quality of the pixel quality, the high definition that we need to bring, the increasing requirements for video consumption on the move, and our 4G launch also shows that this need is for real on all these mid-sized tablets, for instance. We can be insensitive to that.
So what are we talking about for a timeline between people out there in the audience being able to watch the content that Eric's providing wherever they want to with one of your data plans? I mean, how far off are you doing that without you thinking, oh my God, I'm about to break my credit card limit because I've just watched 5 minutes of video?
I don't think the 5-minute happens. I mean, Adrian, I would be worried if that happened. Most of the time, what you are seeing, first of all, is heavy Wi-Fi consumption at home, in hotspots for video. And that's the first trend that's come with the tiered, offerings that we have on data plans. We are opening up the data plans, and certainly the availability of new spectrum, new bandwidth, the ability to manage quality of service, the arrival of 4G, which also enhances the viewer experience. These are all good things to open up for people to be, and we feel that people are ready to pay for the ability to watch anytime, anywhere. It does have value after all. Yeah.
So you talked about the sofa and talked about the viewing experience and the one big screen still. I mean, how much is television still wedded to that one big screen? I mean, how much are you still making stuff for that ever-shrinking family sitting there watching its one big monitor? And how much are you adapting to this mobile environment?
No, of course, we are still doing a lot of things for the main TV screen, but obviously we are now moving actually to three different directions. First, the social TV. Social TV means these are not devices connected between them. These are people connected between them in real time. And we have to deal with that even with a second screen or a third screen, I mean, tablets. And by the way, I think tablets will become the first screen for a lot of people. We in TV talk about the second screen. I think the second screen will be the first one for a lot of the young generation. And we are working on connected TV, as mentioned, and of course we are working also on new form of storytelling between the web and the TV to try to have some bridges between the two very different worlds. The TV is a very closed world, the web is very open, and these are the three main directions.
I mean, we've seen, haven't we, with things like Game of Thrones and The Wire, people able to consume media now through box sets, through downloading whole series. We've seen that you can make much richer and more complicated storylines on television than ever you could with just weekly formats. And you've also seen the rise of kind of live television, or the return of live television experiences. What's the change that this multi-screen format, this anywhere video is going to bring, do you think?
I think there are 4 areas where TV will be relevant in the near future, at least. As you mentioned, live TV will be a very big element when you have a big event where you can federate people around the screen for the same event. So it means big news or big sports event. Then you have, as mentioned, sports. Huge amount of it's a big plus for traditional TV. You have also TV series. TV series are the new center of our generation now, like the movies in the 70s or the 80s, or like the rock group in the 70s. Today, TV series are the core of the culture of this generation. And last, if you have quality reality show, not crap, but good ones, you can have a huge audience for traditional TV. So these are the 4 different main areas where we see a lot of action between new generation and this old media, with the help of the second screen or the smartphone, the tablets or the laptop.
And Vivek, I mean, how are you gearing up to cope with the Internet of Things? How big a part of your business is it going to be? Is it just 4G rollout for you, or are there bigger things afoot?
No, there's much more than that. I think there's a connectivity question. But in many cases, the Internet of Things and most of the applications that we see today are not necessarily the most bandwidth-hungry ones. It's not all about video. It's not all about surveillance. It can be about very simple information collection that happens to be timely, in location, real time, and then carried into processing at the right pace. So it's not so much it may not even place huge demands on the network, but it changes the way certain businesses can be accomplished or can perform. So we're in a supporting role there. As we often feel a connected car is a car, which happens to have connectivity. And when we work on Internet of Things, we try to really understand what are the business needs of the sectors we're working into. And that's where we look at it.
I mean, you say you're in a supporting role, and that always sounds to me like you're waiting for people to come to you with stuff. I mean, is it the case that people are knocking on your door saying, how can you support this, how can you do that? And if so, who's knocking? Or is it just, by the way, you know, here's my number, call me when you want connectivity? Is that the kind of...
No, I think it's much more than that. We found there is more value to be achieved by working with our partners. And they're of all sizes, lots of small companies, startups, solution providers who just need that little connectivity brick to really do something very exciting, or mid-sized companies that are putting in place, for instance, if you take garbage collection, maybe not the most glamorous area on earth, but nevertheless, needs a lot of efficiency. It's a day-to-day issue. Garbage collection that knows how full or empty that bin is, and hence optimizes the fleet, the number of trucks that go out, and the itinerary that they take. That's a nice development to be made. We just provide some items. We provide some data that helps all this planning, logistics work to be done. We provide some software to support this, and then we work with our customers to roll out solutions. If you take an Nespresso office machines, not the ones that you have at home, but currently those that are being rolled out in office setups, collect information. We provide a bit of software and the connectivity that allows this information to be managed, which allows you to have maintenance and consumption information. These are all mid-sized projects. We are in a supporting role. We need those connectivity bricks to be convenient to use, and there's a bit of software to write. There is always some code to write to do these applications right, because you're manipulating massive amounts of data. It can be done manually, so you do need proper workflows, proper data management. So what we do is, over the last 5 years, we've built an international machine-to-machine center, and it's growing and growing. I go there to their annual day every year. And in the last 12 months, there were 500 attendees. There were 300 the year before. And these are mid-sized companies, integrators, companies that do modules that can be plugged into an industrial equipment or into a vehicle or into a meter. And they're all working with us. We're providing them with APIs. We're providing them with SLA. We're trying to enrich the proposition.
I mean, how proactive are you being going out? A Nespresso coming to you and asking you to help them solve something? A garbage collection company's coming to you? Or are you actually sending consultants out to say, look, we can help do something with your business?
We go out and send consultants out. What we try to do is really develop this intimacy with the businesses. We work with CIOs. That's our first port of call in most corporations. And CIOs usually in the passing, in the conversation, tell us, well, yeah, there's this project. If we could automate this part of the value chain, we'd probably make efficiency gains. Typical example, in the medical sector, the collection of data from medical tools, a pacemaker, a hearing aid. The business is asking me to automate that collection. How do I go about it? So that could be the first entrance. The CIO comes in and puts the problem on the table. More generally, we interact with other businesses inside or business units within the organization, and they tell us about their needs, and then we go and work with them. Nespresso, they had a view of the need. We worked with them to shape what we could do with them and how much data was the right frequency, was the right plan that helps them to get enough data that it's manageable, but not too much that it becomes either a waste of time or money to process, for instance.
Just a few words on connection and on things. If we have a new huge amount of connected device, we will have a problem of a distribution channel. Let's take two examples. We are showing today 4K definition on TV. 4K TV is 4 times high definition. It's called ultra high definition. it's amazing picture, but you need a very big bandwidth to distribute this. You cannot do it over the air, and soon you will see 8K. I have seen already 8K screen, which is amazing. It's just no more screen; it's just reality in front of you. But hold on, there is new ways of looking at that. We are showing something very amazing, what we call the Li-Fi. Li-Fi is, and for the first time we are showing it in France. It's here. Li-Fi is a connection through the light. So there is no more problem of bandwidth. There is no problem of spectrum. Sorry, guys, but this is a very, very huge new step to distribute and to transport a huge quantity of data. If just a simple bulb, a LED bulb light can give you the connection. It's an amazing new technology. We are at the very beginning of it, but it's amazing.
Going from very cutting-edge technology to something that's always basically stuck its grasping fingers into television, and something you touched on earlier is rights. You know, one of the boundaries that technology bounces up against all the time, especially in areas like sports, is rights issues. You know, you have lots of people suddenly enabled to create and generate content, and then you have sports companies and sports rights owners, you know, interested in shutting them down immediately. How are you? No,
of course, it's a very difficult issue for every traditional media. You see that sports federations are becoming TV channels themselves. You will see the Olympics Committee becoming a channel as well. So the rights for sports events will be is already a huge battle for traditional media. But at France Télévision, we have secured some huge rights on Olympics, tennis, and rugby, so we are safe for some years. But then we will see what the new landscape looks like. When you see the big NFL in the US or the baseball league, they have huge content, of course, and they're now going by themselves. It's a huge challenge.
I mean, both of you represent what are very probably successful rebrandings of very old-fashioned things, you know, the old PTT and the sort of ministerial
Thank you for that.
aspect of television. How much does that legacy position get threatened by this new connectivity? I mean, how does the justification, for example, of spectrum scarcity stand up now in a day with no spectrum and LED connections for data?
No, it's like the newspaper industry or the music industry or the book industry. We are all, and the telco industry, we are all challenged by this. We are quite lucky because on the TV side, the TV time is still growing. Of course, TV time is growing because of multitasking and because of consuming in different screens. But it's still there. And we are still lucky to have this growing time spent on TV. And we believe there is two different scenarios. One very pessimistic scenario where you see a channel lost among the Apple stores or the Samsung stores, lost on page 200 of the stores, and we will only rely on the brand for some times. And the other scenario is to benefit from this new consumption, to follow the behavior of the people, not to play against, like the music industry did, not to play against the public and the audience, just to try to understand how the new generation is consuming TV, is consuming video, and to be where they are living. To be where they are living means we have to be on the new digital platforms creating now. And of course, it's difficult inside the company because the main problem inside all media, all traditional media, is a cultural problem. People, they still think TV is the big things, is the premium. At France TV, they still call it the premium versus the rest, which is the web or the internet. But this will change, and maybe once very soon we will have content on the web, and you will have bonus on TV, maybe.
Vivek, you know, your company has its genesis in, if you like, a big public intervention in creating a distribution system through post and then through telecommunications. Europe's in the middle of a grim recession. Is there a case to be made for saying that public investment and government money is needed now to kind of pump prime a new generation of infrastructure, and that, you know, companies like yours could be one way of doing that? Or would you say, hands off, thanks very much, it's fine with us?
What I'd say is we need, the infrastructure needs are huge indeed. We've made commitments. We're going in with investment. We're going in with investment in partnership when it's needed. And we have committed to a serious investment on fiber. And we're launching 4G. And we believe that that's part of our contribution to what can be done to develop the economy. I think there are lots of areas where you can free the energies for the economy to grow. I'd like to take one. You know, we were talking about rights, and rights seen as either a constraint or as an opportunity. There are a few sectors where I do believe that we are going slow, and that there is a need, and it's a need that these sectors are expressing, for opening up data flows that will create new business. So beyond infrastructure investment, there are business needs that the Internet of Things can really thrive from, benefit from, if we go in and open up the flow of information. One of them is transport. If we look at an area where a lot can be done, it's on the flow of information in transport. The old economy view of I own my timetables and I can sell them for a cent, that's over. The data's on the web. If it can be shared, if the availability of the transport, the availability of the parking spot, the availability, the speed of the cars can be communicated, you create a new ecosystem. These are the ways that the data will be used in the future. And I think there's a lot of growth to be pulled in from those needs, rather than focusing only on the plugs.
So if I said to you, 5-year time horizon, how well placed will Europe's infrastructure be to cope with the Internet of Things? Will we be catching up against other economies and other regions, or will we be out in front? What would you put your money on?
There are economies and new cities building out in the emerging world or in the Middle East that are built greenfield. And those smart cities are equipped and thought around the flow of data, the flow of information, the connectivity, and the ability to manage all the pieces of the city with a strong and smart view of information that comes back. And they have an advantage. So it's the only way we can catch up is by really opening the flows of information that is beyond the investment that will be required. And that will take time, because we have legacy infrastructures that each and every utility or service provider or city provider will not be able to invest at the same pace. But the ability to, in a fluid way, assemble, mash up, and process information can make a difference and help us to start.
But if you were saying to people in this room, okay, Europe's going to be the place to invest for the Internet of Things in the coming 5 years, because we are going to be the best place with infrastructure, and because my company is going to play a part in making that happen. Would you feel confident making that kind of claim to them?
I'd say there's strong cases for Europe to be a place where these things will happen. There is a real requirement to optimize the energy cost, and that drives a lot of requirement for information. There are investments on transportation that correspond to the real needs of societies to improve transit time and travel time. There is a pretty strong ecosystem of telecommunication players that are ready to play this supporting role. We've got partners across Europe, and it's a market that's big enough for a player to develop a pan-European solution. We've partnered with Deutsche Telecom, with Teliasonera. We offer M2M roaming, so that if you're launching a product in Europe, if you want to put a SIM card in a car that will travel across Europe, you have the ability to process this on a broad enough territory. And I think these are advantages of Europe that we should never neglect.
And Eric's public service broadcasting, it survived Web 1.0, Web 2.0. Is it going to survive the Internet of Things?
I hope so. We will not survive. We will benefit of it, hopefully. I think public service has a huge mission to play in this new environment. We are very lucky not to depend or not to depend too much on advertising, meaning that we can experiment and we can not being too much affected by the spread of the abundance of content which will come very, very soon on TV. It's not a question of dozens of channels, it's a question of millions of channels which will come on the TV very soon. So the audience will be fragmented, the advertising will be fragmented as well. You know that the big new pure players are coming to grab a part of it, trying to take part of the cake. No, we have a big chance, we have a big opportunity. But if we manage to reinvent ourselves inside the company as well, we have to not to stay as we are, because then the battle will be lost. We have to reinvent ourselves, how we work with the audience, how we work with a new ecosystem, which is, again, it's an open ecosystem. It's not closed.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you join with me in thanking both Vivek and Eric, and lunch is next up.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you. I have one more before lunch, actually. You're calling lunch instead
No, I'm
of
sorry.
Thank you very much,
I'm
Eric.
pre-lunching you, like.
Vivek,
Thanks,
so
Nick.
happy to have you here. Thank you,
Thank
Adrian.
you, Lo.
Thank you so much.